So about a week ago, I decided to do an experiment with intermittent fasting, not the more common fasting and eating window, where every day you eat in a window of 8 hours and then fast for a window of 16 hours, but a long fast. So I've never done any intermittent fasting before, so part of the experiment is just to see if I can do it, and therefore a long fast seems like an extra challenge, but the other reasoning behind it is that supposedly after a longer fast you first kick off a process called ketosis, in which the body starts to run on fat, and from those fat they're going to create ketones, and those ketones are super efficient fuel for your brains as well. So proponents of this method claim you get super clear in the head and really effective, and supposedly you can also still train, don't lose any performance, and will not be overly hungry at all. So I'm really curious if that indeed is the case. And the other process that buzzes around intermittent fasting for longer periods is autophagy. We'll have to look up how you pronounce that. But the idea is that when you're in a fast longer, your body starts to restore cells by breaking down old cells and building up new ones, especially white blood cells. And this should have an array of advantages for your health. So there is, of course, research around this, but to do your own research is even more fun. So I've eaten my last meal last night at 9 o'clock. It was a bowl of high-fat yogurt with some linseed and some blueberries. And I've skipped my breakfast this morning. I only drank 2 cups of coffee and a lot of water. And am I really hungry? No, not really. But I do feel a little bit queasy in the stomach, a little bit lightheaded, to be honest, and a little bit fuzzy side. So that's how I'm feeling right now. I'm going to keep you updated on everything I feel and experience during these coming days. So I hope you enjoy it, and maybe you want to join in. Want to join the experiment after watching this video, or maybe you don't ever want to do it. Let's find out. All right, so I'm 19 hours in to the 3-day fast. Just did a little bit of training, 4 sets of 4 back squats at 75% of my 1 rep max, and then 3 rounds of 20 dumbbell lunges and 40 sit-ups. That felt pretty good, and after it also felt pretty good. Not so dizzy anymore, or well, not dizzy, not so lightheaded anymore. Vision is a lot clearer, and overall not too hungry. So far so good. Alright, so I had an interesting night of sleep, quite restless, to be honest. I was awake a lot. Only one time because of my daughter. It didn't make it harder to get out of bed though. Usually I'm not a morning person, but this time I was the first one out of bed and into the shower. Am I feeling hungry? Which is probably what you are wondering most. Well, for being without food for 36 hours, no, I'm not that hungry at all. But I must say that it is on my mind constantly. What am I feeling? Am I hungry? Not so much thinking about food, but just being conscious of the fact that I haven't eaten all the time. I can also feel my stomach being present in my body a lot more than usual. Kind of like that, that clenched up feeling. But energy is pretty good. I'm about to hit some work on the new website for Untitled. So see if I can get some creative juices flowing. With 36 hours in, my body's running on ketones for quite some time now, which means my body is burning fat for fuel. And also the autophagy is what we came to a conclusion it should be called, should be in full effect. Meaning that my body is in a cleansing process for cells. It's like cleaning up mislinked proteins, which could be linked to things like Alzheimer's disease, also things like blood pressure, insulin sensitivity, and level of cholesterol, stuff like that should all be improving. And all of these are markers for health, but also for the risk of coronary disease and things like that. So I want this video to be mainly about how I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, but in the description we will put all the research around intermittent fasting and like some glossary on the different processes that could be going on in your body as you go into this longer fast. So if you're interested in all the nitty-gritty factual sciencey stuff, look down below. Otherwise, just keep tuned in for how it is to not eat for 36 hours straight. 36? No, 72. I'm only halfway. 44 hours in, just finished the training session. We did some heavy front squats, some split squats, then some sandbag carries and some core. Definitely could feel a little bit less energetic than yesterday. Still could grind out the heavy front squats, but definitely not in the mood for some conditioning. Yeah, excited to hit the 48-hour mark in a couple of hours. I'll be watching the game, Ajax, my team, without food or beverages. So let's see how that pans out. Hopefully they'll win. Otherwise, I think I will be hangry for the first time these 2 days. Alright, so we're now 60 hours into the fast, only 12 to go. I feel very confident I'm going to make it. Yesterday was the first day there were some more intense hunger feelings, but when I read up on this adventure or prepared for this adventure, I already read that the hunger would come and go in waves. So I was prepared for that, and you know, when you have that knowledge that it is going to fade away, it is easy to kind of push through. I had a much better night, so good night of sleep, not as restless. And this morning I weighed in at approximately 83.5, which is 1.5 kilos lighter than when I started. So not eating for 3 days is not costing you a lot of weight loss. I started the day with some lukewarm water with lemon juice and some mineral salt to kind of replenish some electrolytes, and that combined with a cup of black coffee, kind of takes that queasy stomach feeling away. I'm going to go for another cup of coffee now, and I have surprising amounts of energy. The mood is good, so I'm going to play with my daughter and her best friend Louie. 66 hours in, and to be honest, the last couple hours were pretty rough. So energy is slowly starting to fade away. I have a little bit of trouble focusing, so concentration is not really there anymore. I have this queasy feeling in my stomach. I'm a little bit cold, like kind of tinglish all over. So it's not super pleasant at the moment. But But yeah, let's see what happens the coming hours. Hopefully this fades away, and otherwise we'll just have to push through as long as possible. It's all part of the process, I guess. So it's 69 hours since the last time I've eaten, and it's 72 hours since my last real meal. I'm about to break my fast with not too full plate of chicken, a vegetarian burger, some potatoes, and I'm not only really looking forward to eating again, but even more eating with my family again. So this is the Hi! So no more skipping dinner. So the last couple hours were okay-ish, and I'll come with a conclusion on the whole ordeal probably tomorrow. Okay, so let's wrap this experiment up. So I started a 3-day fast because a couple of reasons. Reason number one, I just wanted to see if I could do it. Reason number two, I wanted to know how it felt to do such a long fast. And three, I wanted to put my money where my mouth is. So experiment with intermittent fasting, like we kind of ask our members to do, or challenge our members to do in our nutrition ebook. So how did it go? Well, did I make it? Yes and no. So I had dinner at 6 on Sunday, and then at 9 I decided to have like a bowl of yogurt. I ate again at 6 o'clock 3 days later. So it's 69 hours after the bowl of yogurt, about 72 hours after the real, after my last real meal. So did I make it? Well, if you're really strict about it, I didn't. Could I've made it? Probably, but to be honest, I just didn't want to, because it was quite hard at the end. So how did I feel? I wasn't really hungry throughout all 3 days. That really surprised me. The first day I actually felt pretty good. I mean, I did feel I hadn't eaten, and that was a new experience for me. So I was super aware of that. But I did have plenty of energy. I trained, and that went really well. And the first day was actually quite easy. Second day was a little bit harder. Still did some training, which went okay-ish, but I could definitely feel less energetic, harder to recover in between sets. From time to time, I would also have some trouble focusing. Thinking was hard now and then. I did sleep pretty good the second day. I slept horrible the first night. And then the last day, so the third day, that was super hard. The morning started out okay, but like nearing the afternoon and a couple hours into the afternoon was really hard. I didn't feel too good. Cold, tinglish, really hard to focus. Like talking was hard sometimes, just to find the right words to create a sentence was way harder than it's supposed to be. And it took quite long for that to fade away. So, yeah, when I broke the fast with a meal, I just took a regular meal, and that went fine. I had no stomach cramps or nothing, so it was quite easy to break the fast. Would I do it again? Yeah, well, that's a good question, and it's kind of linked to would I advise you to do it. So it was really hard, and it was quite unpleasant overall. So the only real reason, or the reason to do it, is either to to challenge yourself, see if you can do it, like I started out, or if you're really invested into the idea of autophagy. I hope that's how you pronounce it. So the process in which cells in your body start to renew, all sorts of markers that are linked to coronary disease, Alzheimer, cancer, are being solved by different processes that come along with the absence of food. So if you're really invested in that and see it as a health tool you occasionally use to hopefully lengthen your life or lengthen the quality of your life, then I would advise you to do it. But be aware, it's really hard also on the social side. I mean, if you have a partner or a family, it's not so gezellig to skip dinner all the time or have a cup of tea while they're having a dinner. So that being said, I think, or I hope that this video at least proves that you can go without food for prolonged periods of time, and depending on the length, it doesn't affect your training, it doesn't affect your work. So more moderate or accessible forms of intermittent fasting, I would definitely advise you to experiment with it. If I can go for 3 days, you can go for 16 hours. I'd probably start experimenting with a weekly fast of 1 day or 36 hours. See how that turns out. My goal is not to lose any weight. It's just for health and longevity. So if I can implement that without losing weight and impacting my training, I think that's a nice way to go. And another idea would to do daily intermittent fasting. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I've just watched all of them again, and in some of them I think you can actually see it's getting a little bit harder to concentrate and to formulate sentences and try to remember why the hell I'm doing it. But I might do another one, and I might challenge you to tag along. So hang out around for that one if you're interested. If not, read our nutrition ebook, read up on intermittent fasting there and in the comments below, and maybe come up with your own experiment and tell me how it goes.